All right. Hey guys, this is your host Thomas Tyree here from On the Hop podcast. Today, this would be episode 198 for you guys today. And today I'm joined by our host today, or our guest today, excuse me, Johnny Hill, the host of Under the Hood podcast. So Johnny, we chopped it up a few weeks ago and you're back on our platform today. Thank you again for hopping on and being a guest this week.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I always love the content, man. I always love coming on. And bro, I just grateful that you always have me on, Thomas, man. We're gonna have a great time tonight.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. So we're gonna kick things off with the NBA. So we'll go in the depth of the Western Conference. We'll give it a letter grade of the top 8 teams of how their season has gone in the Western Conference. So we'll start off with the number 1 team, the Oklahoma City Thunder. What is your letter grade for the Thunder this NBA season?
A plus. Hey, I love the Thunders, Thomas. Shea, in another world, if Jokic didn't exist, Shea would be the MVP. I love Shea, Jalen Williams, Chet. What not to like about OKC, and they also is Deep Lou Dort, different people on the team, man. I love that team, man. So I gotta go with an A plus, man. A plus, man.
Yeah, that's a good one because I agree with you. A plus. They've been the best team in the Western Conference this NBA season, and they have a big lead on the Western Conference for the number 1 seed. They actually got an 11-game lead out there for the number 1 seed, so they're very comfortable right now. Like you said, SGA has been playing out of this world. He's averaging 32 points per game, leads the league in scoring. That young core that OKC has, they're giving a lot of teams problems because they passed every test basically playing against the
Yeah.
best teams in the NBA so far. And that's the small test that you want to pass before you get to the NBA playoffs. That's a month away. So they look pretty good. I'm going to tell you something too, Johnny. I've been following this team more and more because I know we're going to be talking about them come playoff time even more. The bigs of Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein, they're going to
Yeah.
be some problems
They're
defensively
gonna be some
for
problems.
a lot of teams out in the West. And I seen, even though when they played the Nuggets on Sunday, I was watching, Jokic had a triple double, but elbow injury or not, Jokic was ineffective shooting the ball for the second half because he cost me my parlay. But that's just how good Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein are defensively. So I think that's going to be something to look out for when teams match up against OKC this NBA playoffs. But yeah, I agree with you. A plus for sure.
Yeah, man. Gotta have them A plus. They look really good.
So the Denver Nuggets. What's your letter grade on the Denver Nuggets so far this season?
Um, I would just say A because of Jokic, MVP this year. What not to like about Jokic? Russell Westbrook is playing really good. He playing real good to be as old as he is. Jamal Murray, he's being Jamal Murray. Michael Porter, he ain't passing the ball, he just shooting it. But everybody is looking good at right now, man. Aaron Gordon, what not to like. I just like the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets is constant consistency, and it's because of number 15, the MVP.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna change the letter grade. I'll give him a B plus. But to your point, Jokic has done a lot. And last time I brought you on the show, that was when the Nuggets weren't healthy at the time. So Jokic has shown that he can play at an MVP caliber level with a supporting cast or without a supporting cast. And he's been playing really well this year, walking triple double, 29 points per game, 13 rebounds, 10 assists. How is that not your MVP? He's top 3 in the West. He just doesn't have the number 1 seed like SGA does with the OKC. But now that they're getting healthy at the right time, Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, Michael Portis Jr., Russell Westbrook coming off the bench, they got a top 5, top 3 offense when all of these players are healthy. And we know how lethal the pick and roll game of Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic are together. I mean, man, they are lethal together. So yeah,
Lethal.
they're definitely about to pick it up. But I'll give them a B plus. But I do respect the fact that Jokic has kept them afloat when things have not been the best for this team.
Yeah, man. Gotta respect Jokic, MVP for sure.
So moving on to the Los Angeles Lakers. What's your letter grade on the Los Angeles Lakers this NBA season?
Well, the Lakers with this trade that wouldn't even be made on 2K, I have to. Hey, Thomas, you know that trade wouldn't have went through on 2K. They would have declined this trade with LeBron also being out. Luka's at the helm right now. I would have to say a B plus. B plus
Okay.
because if it wasn't for Luka saving this franchise, I was gonna have some other words for the Los Angeles Lakers, but for sure, Luka getting traded. I gotta give credit to that trade, man. That trade really just saved their whole season as a whole because it was just going down. Thomas, me and you both know that. And
Oh yeah.
LeBron, he's currently hurt right now. We don't. I haven't seen reports when he's gonna come back, but right now, B plus. They really can be a threat. They just don't have no big, Thomas. They don't have no big who I trust.
Yeah, you hit it on the nail because I give him a B plus too. And to your point, that trade would never happen in 2K. I even
Never.
tried it. I even tried it on 2K25. It was never worked. But hey, this is the NBA. But yeah, I think a B plus is fair for this Lakers team because they've been through a lot this season. And yes, you get a player like Luca, but defensively they still adjusted well and they still play pretty good defensive ball, even without their defensive ace Anthony Davis in town anymore. But like you said, that groin injury that LeBron's about to miss 1 to 2 weeks, that hurts the momentum and the chemistry that LeBron and Luca has built quickly in the last couple weeks. They looked pretty good, and they got a tough stretch while LeBron is out. They got to play at Milwaukee. They got to play the Bucks at Denver. They got to play the Nuggets. Then they turn around and play the Suns, Spurs at home. Then they also play the Nuggets and Bucks again at home while LeBron is out. So that's a tough stretch. We're really going to see what Luka Doncic can become without LeBron on the court with him, and if he could keep the Lakers as hot as they were before the injury. But yeah, I give him a B plus. I think to your point as well, we weren't looking like it wasn't looking like the Lakers were going to be championship contending team that really had a chance to go out to the Western Conference Finals this year. But
Yeah,
now that Luka has came to save the day, they got a chance. But one more thing I'll say too is to your point, they are lacking a big.
they is.
They got Mark Williams by the trade deadline, not the flashiest big man, but has a lot of potential if the injury bugs don't hit him. But they don't have a big. And can I really trust? What's that guy's name?
Jackson Hayes?
Jackson Hayes.
No,
I,
we don't trust him. Thomas, we can't trust Jackson Hayes, dog. Hey, nothing against him. Hey, I like Jared Vanderbilt. I like Vando. I like him, but they ain't gonna work either.
Yeah, they got. I mean, they got a shot. I think they got a shot to go far because the coaching job that JJ Redick has done. But that is one scare to me because if you got to play these teams like OKC, if they run to OKC, that's a big problem right off the bat, based off of Chet Holmgren, Isaiah Hartenstein, like we just talked about, or Jokic. That's the only problem with this Lakers team. They're
to be
lacking a big.
to be honest, if the Lakers go into the playoffs healthy, they are going to be very dangerous. I might do some joking and playing though for sure, but I honestly feel the Lakers can upset somebody.
Oh yeah,
They can't like right matchup. Okay, if they play because right now where they at? They're at the fifth seed or fourth seed. They
I think
scheduled
they're.
to play Memphis, right? Or no, they scheduled to play Denver. Wait, who they scheduled to play? They're the third seed.
Yeah, they were the second seed, but they lost the other night. I think to the.
Yeah. So they scheduled to play Memphis, huh?
They gotta play that stretch. They play. They gotta play the Bucks twice, the Nuggets twice, Suns and Spurs.
So if the playoffs started today, right? Would they play the Grizzlies?
Oh, let's see who's number
Let's
two.
see. Let's see. I think they do.
Let's see NBA standings. So if it was today, they would be playing the Warriors if it started today because the Warriors got the sixth seed right now.
Ooh, yeah.
So with that injury, it could shift up things if the Lakers plummet because that could hurt who they play in the first round. So that's why I said I think it's going to be important how well Luka can carry his own weight for until LeBron gets back because every game is about to matter with a stacked Western Conference right now.
Man, I'm telling you right now, the Lakers, they match up against the right team. They can give people they really can do some damage, bro. they can do some damage. But right now, Jackson Hayes, no threat.
Speaking of the Grizzlies, though, we'll move on to them. What's your letter grade on the Memphis Grizzlies this year?
As a Grizzly fan and supporter, the only team in sports that I support fully, I have to be critical of my team, Thomas, and I'm giving them a B.
Okay.
The reason I'm giving them a B is because I know this they're not playing to their full potential. Ja last game, I think he had a 30 piece. He against the Suns. We're not even gonna talk about the Suns. They not even worth mentioning right now. But what John and them boys did against the Suns, I'm starting to see they getting back to it, man. And they're still young, that young core. I love John Morant, Jaren Jackson playing all-star level, Desmond Bain, very, very underrated player, man, who don't get his respect. He's a 20 piece bucket. Like he gonna get you 20 points, man. That's what Desmond can do for sure.
Yeah.
But the Grizzlies, I just feel like they just need to get the legs under them. Zach Edey need to merge into the line, really see his role. He's still a rookie, still learning, but that's where I'm at with the Grizzlies. I'm giving them B.
Yeah. I give the Memphis Grizzlies a B minus this year. To me,
Yeah,
this young team, like you said, they are still trying to figure it out. And they've shown flashes how dangerous they can be once they hit that light switch and actually turn it up a notch. So the potential is there. I just don't think the team is as strong as it was a year or so ago when they
I
were
agree.
the second seed out in the West, because obviously they lost some pieces that were part of that team.
Dylan
But
Brooks, you know. Yep.
yeah, I'm waiting for Ja to get to that level. I want him to hit that. I want somebody to hit that button because I know the potential is there. I know he can take flight and go on a deep playoff run. Same with Jaren Jackson being by his side, both caliber players. And then you said Desmond Bain as well. I think Styles makes the tournament special for the NBA playoffs and a 7 game series based on who they match up against. They could have some success in the playoffs. But this young core, I'll give them a B minus based on how they played. And sometimes I feel like their potential is there, but sometimes they don't show it on a nightly basis. Or like you said, like the effort can sometimes be there but not there. But I do think highly of their future though. But I'll give them a B minus for their season so far.
I agree. I agree.
Next team, Houston Rockets. What's your letter grade on the Houston Rockets right now?
Houston, I'm gonna be honest. From what Houston have been in the past, that's what I'm looking at. From what they've been from to the past to right now. And
Mm-hmm.
I have to give them a B. Because I am actually, you know what? For them to be in the position they're in the playoff push, 6 seed, I gotta give it an A minus. The reason I say an A minus because where was this team not just a year ago, but 2 years ago? Nowhere.
Yeah.
Nobody even thought about the Houston Rockets. They were always drafting high. But then you start seeing guys, Jalen Green, ain't fully there, but you starting to see he got potential. But Jalen, let's be honest, Jalen ain't playing at an all-star level right now.
Yeah, that's fair.
But we all know he's young. It's like everybody just blending together. Van Vliet. Then you also got Dylan Brooks, who came from the Grizzlies, but to the Houston Rockets, who have been a great piece for them. Then you have Şengün, who playing to me all-star type of level, man. He's like a baby Joker. So
Yeah.
it's amazing. Then we got the other Thompson twin, man. And he plays, he's not, Amen isn't like, I won't say he's not the full defender as Asard Thompson. I
Yeah.
would say Asard is a better defender than Amen. But, man, he can do everything, man. Like, sometimes they give him the ball and he can handle and finish at the rim. You know what I'm saying? Both of the twins don't got an outside game fully, but it will happen. I just love this young core, and I feel like next year is when they really going to take a leap. They're
Oh
like
yeah,
the Pistons. They're making leap runs just like how the Pistons doing in the East.
yeah. That's a fair comparison too, compared to the Pistons as well, based on how well they've turned things around as well. For the Rockets, I might be a little too high on them, but I give them an A minus based on that what they went through in the last couple of years. Like you said, they were 41-41 last year to end the
Yeah,
NBA season, so this is a big turnaround. You go and finishing 500, and of course having lottery picks in the last couple of years to now being a top five, top six seed in the West. Ime Aduka has done a great job
yeah.
coaching this
Mm-hmm.
Rockets team. And to the point that you said, they're young, but the pieces are getting it done. Like Jalen Green, he's gonna only get better as time goes on. I think his name is Alperian, the center.
Alfred Alfred
Yeah,
Sengun. Yep.
yeah. And the young pieces as well. And then they got the veteran players like Steven Adams and Dillian Brooks that are starting to guide them. The only thing for this season is they're gonna get. I think they're gonna get a star very, very soon, whether it's this off season or by the trade deadline next year, whether that's getting Devin Booker, Kevin Durant possibly, or whoever they get. But something that hurt them by the NBA trade deadline is they didn't cash in getting another star or another role player because when playoff time comes and you match up against one of these, you might match up against a veteran team like the Warriors or experience like LeBron James or Luca have out there in LA. I really trust Fred Van Vliet when it matters most? I don't think so. And so I think they're lacking that superstar that they need or another role player. But based on how fast they flip the switch and turn things around, I'll give them an A minus this year.
Thomas, I love what you're saying, but this is my question to you. I want you to think about this. Do this team, this young core need a superstar, or do they need just a guy with championship DNA? This is what I think. This team needs a Drew Holiday instead of a Fred Van Vliet.
That there you go. That's a good one right there.
If they have a Drew Holiday type of player, athlete, that changes their franchises around better than a superstar like Devin Booker or Kevin Durant. Because Drew has championship DNA playing with guys, and he on the other side of his career. Drew
That's
Holiday
true.
will help the Rockets way more than Kevin Durant or Devin Booker. They needed to get him, but I don't think the Celtics were gonna give him away. I don't believe so
Nah.
because they know how much important he is.
But that's a good point though, because we're talking about if they get a superstar. What you said, a player like Drew Holiday is a perfect example because a player like Chris Paul, that is one of the greatest at his position all time, doesn't have a ring. But a veteran player like that has had so much impact on these younger teams. Look at the impact that he had with OKC. They look where they are now. Small but little. The impact that he had with the Suns, they went to the NBA Finals with him, Booker, and Aiton. He's got a lot of impact on being a part of these younger core teams. So that's a perfect example of Drew Holiday. Maybe they are lacking somebody like that. There could be somebody out there this summer, or they could acquire in the future to basically get them to that point or help the young rising stars get to being a championship caliber team. So that's a good one, Johnny.
If I'm the Rockets, I'll try to get Drew Holiday because he will be a great. The thing is, you gotta think locker room type of guy for Jalen Green, Amon Thompson, and Shagun. Like a guy like him, people would take a Drew Holiday 1,000 times over a guy, I'm just being honest, like Chris Paul, who have been an all-star for years because Drew Holiday has been in the moments.
Oh yeah.
Like Drew Holiday is always been rated by his peers. Everybody always loved him, and people for the longest of this generation, he been one of the most underrated players of this generation. So Drew Holiday is a guy I would say if Houston try to make an impact, I don't. Jalen Green got to step up too, man, to really take the throne of being the guy, or they might end up rethinking, is he the guy?
Yeah,
He got to
that's
make a
true
new
too.
leap, man. It's time.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Um, what's your letter grade for the Golden State Warriors so far this season?
See,
See?
just like Curry. See, like Curry. Just like Steph Curry a C. Hey, man. Hey, to me, Golden State is on the down end. The no Splash Brothers. They got Splash Buddy. That's what they got. The no more Splash Brothers is Splash Buddy. And yeah, man. Draymond Green. But all jokes aside, they're not no threat. And that is a sad thing to see with what they are, what we have known them to be, especially Steph Curry, a guy who I still think, honestly, I think got 5 more good seasons in him. He said he done dunking. He said that's his last dunk he ever gonna do. He did a dunk a couple of, I want to say a couple days ago, but he said
Yeah.
he done dunking. But I still think Steph got that ability to still play at a high level 5 years. But they're not helping Steph. They need more pieces. He needs somebody to really help him out, man. Because Buddy Hield isn't going to do it. What's this guy? I forgot the other guy name.
Jonathan Mingo? Or not Mingo.
Przinski.
Who is it?
Przinski. It's hard to say his name, but he's the other
Oh,
shooter.
I know you talk about.
Yeah, Przinski. He's not doing it. Of course, Draymond Green. They got Jimmy Butler. They got Jimmy Buckets. But I just don't think Jimmy Butler. I don't think he's gonna elevate. They can be sneaky if they find the right matchup, but I don't fear the Warriors at all.
Mm. Yeah. See, this is the thing about the Warriors because right before this Jimmy Butler trade, I would give them a C minus. But something has clicked since they brought Jimmy to the Bay Area. And I got to give him a B minus because now they found new life with Jimmy. They're 12-1 since Jimmy Butler came to town. And I think Jimmy Butler might have pulled a James Harden move. Not wearing a fat suit to get out of Houston, but in a pouting way, acting like I'm washed and I don't want to be in Miami anymore. I feel like that's what he did. Because why couldn't you play this same type of ball with the Heat that you are right now with the Warriors? So, I think overall this team is getting better shooting wise, playing better defense. They're drawing more fouls to get to the free throw line. But to your point, Johnny, that core is not good enough to win a title. Like you
No.
said, they could be sneaky, but it depends on who you match up against in the dance. But I don't think that core right now of Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green is good enough to go on a run from the first round all the way to the NBA Finals and win a chip. I don't think so. So I think their ceiling is as high as the second round right now, as high as the second round.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, they're definitely missing. They're missing a lot of things, and it might be flashy now, but like you said, I don't really have much. The only faith I have is Steph Curry being a four-time champion and Jimmy Butler being Jimmy Butler of the playoffs, having historic performances. Other than that, I really don't have faith in the Warriors to do much in the playoffs.
yeah. I don't. I'm being honest. I don't have no faith in them at all. I really don't. I told you I gave him a C for Curry.
Next team, the Minnesota Timberwolves. What's your letter grade that you're giving them?
A D.
Damn.
A D. A D, man. And the reason I'm giving them a D is look how that Carl Anthony trade that that took them all the way back. It feel like that reset the franchise.
That was so silly.
And the fact of the matter is this: you put I love Anthony Edwards. I do. I love his game. I love the swagger, the bravado. But you put him with Julius Randolph and quiet kept when Julius Randolph don't play good with other ball dominant players. That's when he was out. Jalen Brunson became Jalen Brunson. You know what I'm saying? So you cannot put a guy like, no disrespect with Julius Randle, not attack on his character or none of that. But you cannot put a guy like him with Ant-Man and he's ascending. You can't
That's
do that.
facts.
And then you put him on a team. Let's look at what else we got out there. Rudy Gobert, a guy Ant-Man can't really get to the paint like he wants to because you got this 7-1 man in the middle of the paint. Clear out, Rudy.
I will
I
say,
love
clear out
Mike
his shoe. He
Conley.
can't
Let's just
shoot.
go down the list. Let's go to Mike Conley. I love Mike. But Mike is up there in the age. It's time for that young boy, Rob Dillingham, to get off that bench and take some rest from Mike Conley. Maybe that can improve him. Because they got Mike Conley, and Mike Conley just look old. He look old. Get get that boy Dillingham. Put that boy put Shifty out there, man. Put Dillingham out there, man. Because Dillingham, I love Rod Dillingham game. I feel like he can actually grow into a better player if he get run. He needs run. And you be playing with the man minutes. So yeah, I'm giving them a D. And not to me, Ant-Man doing all he can do. He taking a lot of threes this year. I never see logo Ant-Man, but he's doing that. Wherever he's feeling it, he pulling it. But like just the pieces around him, like Rudy clogging up the paint and Julius Randolph being so ball heavy, and he's a streaky scorer. Like you never know what you're gonna get. One minute he may be hot, but when he's cold, he's cold. So
Yeah. Yeah. This Timberwolves team, I'm giving them a C minus. I don't know what the franchise was thinking, trading Carl Anthony Towns, like you said, to New York in exchange for Julius Randle and Steven Chenso. I mean, why? Why, when you were in the Western Conference Finals last year, the farthest that you've been since Kevin Garnett was a part of the franchise? That's how long it's been. These Minnesota fans and these Timberwolves fans around the world, I would be pissed off right now because you were just right there last year. You went on a great playoff run. You swept the Suns. Then you took out who were the reigning defending NBA champions in the Nuggets in the second round. You just fell short to a red hot Dallas Mavericks team. So this definitely put the franchise back. Like you said, Anthony Edwards is having to do things that he really doesn't really want to do, and his style of play is not fitting well around these players around him. And they've been affected throughout the season because guys like Julius Randle, Rudy Gobert, Steven Chenso has missed some time in the lineup this year. So
yeah,
I feel like that's why they hover around the seventh seed or the eighth seed right now in the Western Conference. And at best, I feel like they're a first round exit. I don't see
I
this
see
team
too.
going far. I see I see Anthony Edwards being the only bright spot for this Timberwolves team, but they're not going far this year based off the supporting cast that he has this year compared to last year having Carl Anthony Towns by his side.
I hope, I'm just being honest, man, Thomas. I hope the Timberwolves do not ruin Anthony Edwards like how the Trailblazers ruined Damian Lillard. That's all I'm about to
Oh,
say.
that'd be horrible. That would honestly be horrible because that's a generational talent like Lillard dumped down the drain for years.
Man, but like Ant-Man, I love Ant-Man. Like, and the thing is, remember we were having the face of the league talk. Ant-Man cannot be the face of the league when his team is the eighth seed.
Yes.
He can't be the face of the league like this. He can't. No matter how much swagger and bravado he have, Ant-Man not even in no MVP combo. He not in no combo right now. Just being honest. Ant-Man is not in zero combo, man. And I love Ant. But the the Timberwolves, Ant-Man can only do so much. I love Jaden McDaniels. I love Nas Reed. I love Rob Dillingham. They got some dogs on that team. It
Oh, they
just the
do.
fact of the matter is the other pieces really make it hard for them to really shine because Nas look like he can win six man of the year. And Jay McDaniels, he always played like a all defense type of player. And Rob Dillingham, I love Rob Dillingham, but he just need the opportunity. I feel like Dillingham this year should have had opportunity really to develop under Mike Conley to being a starting point guard for either mid the season or next year. But
Yeah,
they didn't give him enough run. They didn't give him a fair shot. So Rob Dillingham is getting just wherever he can until he really get thrown out there into the fire.
yeah, that's true. That is true. Um, so Johnny, I'm actually gonna call audible here. I know I said the top teams, but there's one team I really want you to give a letter grade for. Respect to the Clippers. I personally think they're having a good year, based off of what they have to offer, and I'm pretty sure you think the same thing. But I want your thoughts on this particular team. What is your letter grade for the Dallas Mavericks right now? I just want
Oh,
to hear.
oh, them? I didn't even. I don't. We shouldn't even talk about the Dallas who, bro. The Dallas Mavericks. Let's get their season was done once they traded Luka. Then guess what happened next? I love Kyrie, but Kyrie get hurt. Kyrie
Yeah,
hurt out for the season. Wrap it up. Sell the franchise, man. Because one thing about it, that they had no respect, man. Like the thing is, you don't trade a generational talent like Luka Doncic, and then you trade him for Anthony Davis, the man who slips on an ice cube is raps. Thomas, bro, it is over, bro. No, no, bro, no. They traded for AD. It was raps, and then my boy Kyrie. I love Kyrie, but once Kyrie got hurt, the season done. Let's wrap this up. Let's. They already think about the off season. They try. Hey, rumor is they might sell the franchise. They need to.
yeah, they need to. Yeah, I was just very curious in your letter grade for them. Respect to the
Oh,
Clippers.
F. F. The GM should be fired. That's they should give the F to him, then fire him. But to be honest, man, the owners, whatever I think it's been reported. I don't want to put no misinformation out there, but I want to say the owners did know about it and they did sign off on it. So who knows really what Luka was doing? Because if the owners are signing off of it, the question becomes, what was going on with Luka that they didn't trust?
Yeah,
No, but to be honest, no way. You don't trade a generational talent like that, no matter what's going on. Look at what James Harden was doing with Houston, right? James
yeah,
Harden was going to the strip clubs. James Harden was doing a lot of stuff in Houston, man, and losing. And they did not trade him at all. You know what I'm saying? And nothing against James Harden, like nothing against Luka. You don't trade no talent like that, man. Some talents you just don't trade. You don't trade Luka Doncic, man. That man, he, he was in the MVP conversation last year, bro. He dragged the Dallas Mavericks just with Kyrie to the finals.
yeah.
Kyrie, and they just had role players. You know what I'm saying? You don't get rid of a talent like that. You don't. And the thing is, F. I'll say it again, F.
Yeah, it's an F. I give it an F minus because, like you
My fault.
said,
My fault, Thomas. F minus, bro. I wasn't clear. I wasn't clear, Thomas.
yeah, it's an F minus because like, what are you guys doing? Like Nico Harrison has taken over as the worst general manager in the city of Dallas over Jerry Jones because you let a generational talent like Luka slip out of your hands in the prime. We haven't even scratched his prime years yet. He could take off whenever necessary. So you were just in the NBA Finals last year. You trade your ace and Luka Doncic, your best player, for Anthony Davis, which is no problem. But you only get another player and a first round pick out of that. You need a massive haul for a player like Luka Doncic, and they didn't even get a massive haul. And then they got cursed, like you said. Anthony Davis has the history bug, the history injury. First game with the Mavericks, injured. Then Kyrie Irving tears his ACL last week or a week or so ago. So now the season is over. It's wrapped up. What are you going to do this offseason? Because in order to get another star, you're going to have to give up something significant. And Klay Thompson ain't a significant piece anymore. That ain't the same Klay that once was. So now you have no star power to give up in order to get another star there. So maybe the chemistry. Well, actually, never mind. I take that back because the ACL injury takes 9 to 12 months to recover from. So Kyrie's already looking at the first half of the season next year. He's out. Oh, they're done. Yeah, that's just Anthony Davis there with a lot
Wrap
of
it
role
up.
pieces. Yeah, they're in trouble.
Wrap it up. If they have what they call AD, I love AD. If they have street clothes, man, it's raps. It's raps. AD ain't gonna cut it by himself, man. I love AD. Especially when he was with the Pelicans. When AD was with the Pelicans, he was different.
Oh yeah, he was.
Different. But over time, injuries do happen and you lose a step. AD, they traded for Anthony Davis, right? Not only is he 30 something, Kyrie's 30 something. Your whole your core is old.
Yes.
So what can y'all do? Are y'all rebuilding? Let me know.
That
Because that's what it looked like. It looked like y'all are rebuilding.
was an
Because I love
unnecessary
Kyrie.
rebuild.
But a Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis Mavericks team, unless them guys are healthy, they're not going to win you no chip.
Mm.
They were struggling. Sheesh. They were struggling, man. And I love Kyrie, but I just pray everything go good with Kyrie and he come back healthy. And we'll just see what happens next year, man. But who knows? He might not even be there. Maybe they trade Kyrie. Because they
F.
looking like they want to lose. That's what I see.
um, so we'll move on to the next segment. So we'll be sharing our most underrated and overrated NBA players currently in the league. So we'll start with the underrated. Johnny, what's a couple of NBA players that you believe are underrated currently in the NBA today?
Okay. I want people to listen up. There's a guy in Atlanta, not Trey Young,
Oh,
but his name is Dyson Daniels. If y'all don't know him, you should know him. He got drafted to the Hornets. I mean, he got who? I said Hornets. He got drafted to the Pelicans, ended up being traded to the Atlanta Hawks. Man, that man, he's 6'7", only 21 years old, lead the league in steals. Get this, Thomas. Average 3 steals a game. For sure, all defense. He's in the run for sure. He's in the run for defensive player of the year. He averaging 14 points this year, only 21 years old. He can pass the ball, rebound the ball. He reminds me of a taller Drew Holiday. I'm being honest, man. He is going to be a problem in the near future. To be honest, he a problem right now, but there's nobody talking about Dyson. But Dyson's a problem in the NBA. And another underrated guy I would say is with the Grizzlies. I mentioned it, Desmond Bane, underrated guy. Hey, he just put up buckets. He just put up buckets, go home, man. You can tell when John Morant was out, he was working on his game a lot. You see him handling the ball more. But Desmond Bain, for sure, Desmond Bain, Dyson Daniel, they're my underrated guys.
Yeah, that's some good ones right there. Really underrated. Very young as well. So I got two cats that have been around the league for quite some time as underrated players. One is Derek White. I know a lot of people know
Yeah,
who Derek White is, but he gets overshadowed by how much star power that the Boston Celtics really do have with their superstars of Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and we know how stacked they are with a supporting cast. But Derek White's game is very underrated, I believe, because he's one of the reasons why the Celtics are still one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. And the reason why they won it all last year. He's a great two-way player that can be effective shooting the three ball. He's a really good defender as well that can really sit down and play defense on any position on the court from point guard all the way to center if you really want to be that bold to have him play. But that's how well he can play defense on all five positions on the court. And I feel like the way how his game has evolved over the years, if he were to leave the Celtics and go to one of these younger teams, he could be one of the reasons why they ascend to be in a championship caliber team based off the production that he can give you. But he gives you a lot with the Celtics, and that's a good thing that they mix it up with all the pieces that they have. But I feel like his game is very underrated as well.
yeah, I
Um,
agree.
and
Derek
then
White.
the last player would be Andrew Wiggins. I think Andrew Wiggins has not lived up to the hype of being the number one overall pick that he was years ago in the NBA draft. He's a good scoring option, a 3-point shooter. At best, I would say he's probably a third scoring option throughout his career, but he can play great defense. And that's the defense that he played in the 2022 NBA Finals when the Warriors played the Celtics. And he sat down and locked up Jason Tatum and basically put him in the doghouse for that
Yeah,
entire series because Tatum was nowhere to be found. And that's one of the big reasons why the Warriors dethroned that Celtics team in the finals last year to help Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and those other players like that get their fourth ring. But yeah, I feel like those two players are really underrated based off of what they can give you. But I feel like Andrew Wiggins has taken the role or taken the pressure off him. He knew he wasn't going to be what a number one overall pick is supposed to live up to be an NBA draft, but he's had a really solid career being a great role player as well.
man. Yeah, them are two really good names. I love like people when looking at Andrew Wiggins, people need to take off the lens when he first came in. We all remember his amazing mixtape, him going to Kansas and different things. But Andrew Wiggins, I feel like he had a really good career. Like for what he has been, an all-star, rookie of the year, NBA champion. He's a guy who I do still feel he can, I honestly feel like he can make the all defensive team. Maybe not the all NBA team, but for sure the all defensive team. Cause he plays some good lockdown defense, like you mentioned. I'm doing with Jason Tatum and Derek White. Derek White will be another guy who will be perfect for the Rockets because
Yeah,
Derek White, what he do, a good ball handler, scorer, play good, great defense, all defensive type of guy. Great man. I love both of them.
yeah, for sure. Now, overrated, I got some spicy ones, but I want to hear what couple players in the league do you feel like are the most overrated in the league right now, Johnny?
There's only one man name. There's not a couple. There's only one.
Uh oh.
There's only one. I know you said a couple, but this one face kept coming in my head, and it's Jordan Poole. Pool party.
Oh,
Hey, let me tell you something. There haven't been a pool party since he was with Golden State. There haven't been a pool party since the NBA Finals. Hey, Jordan Poole is overrated to me, man. Let me tell you something. Thomas, it's on me. He fooled me. Him shooting from deep like that in the NBA Finals. He fooled me. I'm thinking, okay, Jordan Poole get his own team. He gonna go on a James Harden run. Average 26, 25 points a game. Nope. He hasn't done that. Jordan Poole has not. And he came up saying, man, I feel like I should be an all-star. Who? Who said that? You're not an all-star, sir. I'm sorry, man, you're not. Jordan Poole is overrated to me, man. I still feel like he's still learning to be the head guy in charge, especially over the Wizards. But Jordan Poole have not lived up to what he should be doing. You're the number one option. He only averaging 21 points. Man, I need you to put that ball in the hole, man. Put it there on a proficient type of level. He's just not doing that. And like I mentioned earlier, he said, "Man, I should be. I feel like I was snubbed." No, Trae Young got snubbed. The first time they eventually put him in. LaMelo, to me, got snubbed. And you
Oh
see what
yeah.
they're doing when they're the man of their team. He not putting up numbers like that. And to be honest, him learning from Steph Curry and Clay, I thought he would been doing better than what he doing, man.
Yeah, that was actually a good one because I didn't forget about Jordan Poole, but I low key forgot about him because who
See?
the hell is watching a Wizards game right now? So, like, yeah, like Jordan Poole had a lot of potential with that Warriors team until he wanted to be a boxer, a kickboxer, get in the ring on the court with Draymond Green at practice.
And it got real.
That was reps. That was it.
Thomas, Draymond put that boy. He gave a doo doo. You see him on the ground.
He had a 1-2 on him and got his ass out of the Bay Area. That was a wrap. I'm serious because if you think about how pivotal Jordan Poole really could have been to that Warriors team that just won it all a few years ago, he looked like he was like the long lost Splash Brother cousin of Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. The man was lighting it up. And
Hey,
then
hey,
one practice, one bad comment, boom, knocked him into DC.
hey. He forgot who he was. Hey, what'd you say? He was the cousin. Yeah, he became. Remember they were saying there's a triplets of the Splash Brothers. There's a trio. No, he went from a trio to a long distant cousin in Washington.
And the thing is, he would. Now I'm gonna say this is bizarre to say now, but at the time that Jordan Poole was doing his thing, and this was when Steph was hurt and the Warriors were still hot. Like I said on this podcast like 3 years ago, I said it would not be the boldest decision if Jordan Poole started for a little bit to bring Steph off the bench and give him a spark
Yeah.
because that's how good he was playing. But now, if you hear that now, that sounds bizarre and insane to say. But that's how hot Jordan Poole really was with the Warriors. And now you look at, he's like a lost cause and forgettable right now in DC with the Wizards. I mean, is that who you're gonna build the franchise around?
Nah, nah. Hey, Washington, another franchise. No matter what they do, they go under. They're
Yeah.
just another team that just always. They're just a bad franchise. Since we've been growing up, when have we known Washington to be? They had a run with John Wall, but that's probably the best they ever been since we growing up, man.
Oh
John
yeah, that
Wall
is.
Wizards. But other than that, we know when they're known for losing. They're known just like the Hornets, known for losing. Like the
Yes.
Timberwolves,
Known
known
for
for
losing.
losing until Ant-Man came and saved them. But sheesh.
Yeah, I got two, and I want your thoughts on both of these once I get this out the way. Player number one is Paul George. Now, Paul George is a great scoring option. A great scoring option that a lot of young players like to see that his type of game has had an influence on them to some. But he has been overrated. In terms of being a big star, he's been overrated. And he's been a good scoring option or a second scoring option on a lot of teams that he's been a part of. When the Pacers tried to make him the face of the franchise, they gave up on him and traded him to OKC. When he got to OKC being Russell Westbrook's right-hand man, when he was putting up them MVP stats, he was nowhere to be found for the playoffs, was really MIA, couldn't perform well. Then a lot of wasted years out in LA with the Clippers, him and Kawhi Leonard. They should at least won a title or so together, at least, based off of the prime years that they were in together out there with the Clippers, but he can never step up. And now he just robbed the Philadelphia 76ers in broad daylight with the contract he got last summer playing alongside Joel Embiid, the player with the most PTO time in the league. Now that Paul George has, I mean, his game is still there, but he cannot ascend his team to being a championship caliber team with him being the number one option. He doesn't have any memorable playoff moments, and he doesn't perform well in the playoffs. I gotta say he's overrated. He's got the skill set. Don't get me wrong. His game is smooth, but when it matters most, you cannot be a hazard to your team on the court when they need you most, or it's time for you to shine. I feel like he's overrated in terms of what an NBA superstar really is.
I can understand for sure why you feel like Paul George is overrated. He had some moments like shooting the ball to the backboard, different un 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 moments that just need to be forgotten, and moments that we just don't expect from Paul George. Paul George, he has a smooth game. Paul George is a multiple time All-Star, but Paul George have been showing up short in the playoffs. He called himself playoff P, but we haven't seen playoff P in a long time. Paul George, the thing about playoff P is missing in action.
He rated G.
Hey, I'm no podcast P, and right now podcast P say he not gonna be podcasting no more for a minute. So
That's enough. Why you wait until the 76ers are bottom feeders at the Eastern Conference to say, oh yeah, I'm gonna put my podcast down. We're gonna be a championship caliber team. Who are you fooling? Why didn't you do this when Joel Embiid was missing time or the team wasn't healthy? That's when you're supposed to put the podcast down and say, yeah, I'll be back once we in the playoffs and we a championship caliber team. Not wait until you bottom feeders and you know Joel Embiid, it's only a matter of time before he gets shut down. What's that, to get more views as a star? I don't know. I feel like
hey,
the talent. I'm never going to take away the talent that he
oh
has.
yeah, talent there for sure. Like Paul George is an amazing hooper. Like the talent's there, but I love podcast P, man. Hey, podcast P, if it's time to be podcasting, it's right now because they ain't going nowhere, man. They ain't going nowhere now. Get back to podcasting. We need them weekly episodes.
I got one more player for you too before we move on. Julius Randle. We just talked about Julius Randle earlier in the episode.
Oh,
I have honestly never been a fan of Julius Randle's game. I think he's always been very inconsistent when the teams matter, when his team needs him most, especially in the playoffs. And like you said earlier, a few moments ago, when we were talking about the Timberwolves, when he's not the dominant ball handler or the number one scoring option, when he's out the way, it's for the team's better sake. Because when he was injured and he wasn't the number one scoring option for the Knicks, that's when Jalen Brunson started to blossom out and become his own star, the face of the Knicks franchise. And at times, I don't see him take responsibility for lack of defense, lack of effort, or having poor shooting performances. I don't see that accountability being taken by Julius Randle. And sometimes he's hurt, yes, but since he's gotten to the Timberwolves, like we just talked about, he has not ascended them to being anywhere close to a threat that they were last year when they got to the Western Conference Finals playing alongside of Anthony Edwards. So I feel like he's always been overrated. And what is there really to like about his game at this point? Maybe in the younger days of Julius Randle, yes, that's a conversation. But now he is completely overrated. And how can you view him as a second scoring option when you're supposed to? I have not seen him take that next step of developing his game to the next level. I have not seen that of Julius Randle.
man, Julius Randle, man. What else is there to say? You know what? I give Julius Randle credit before I talk about him in a negative way. I give him credit. He went to New York and became an all-star. Built his game, was able to make them a team that people get back to watching New York basketball because Melo wasn't there and Randolph was there and he shined. I give him credit, and he became an all-star. But there's no mystery in his history. When he's on a team, it's hard for the another ball handler to be dominant and to be play their game. Hey, Jalen Brunson became Jalen Brunson when he was gone. There's no if or no buts about it. Then he came back to the team and they realized he can't play with Jalen.
Yeah.
There's no mystery in that. And we seen what Ant-Man was until what he's playing like this year. It's Julius Randle. Ant can play with a cat because cat he do pick and pops. He posts up, he do his thing. But Julius Randle put the ball on the floor.
Yeah.
It's different from cat. That's completely different. And he don't play well with him. It's like a black hole. That's what it is. It's not helping Ant-Man game at all. And
Nope.
the Timberwolves messed up and this year. They set them up to fail. And I honestly believe that.
Yeah, this is facts. This is facts. And I don't know. When we look back at that trade, depending on what the Knicks can do with Karl Anthony Towns over the years, I feel like they're gonna really regret letting him walk out the door. And getting the value that you got, I don't think it was worth it. I don't think it was worth it.
Not worth it at all.
Yeah, man. Um, so we'll move on to the next segment. We're gonna switch gears to the NFL here. So I'm curious to know, Johnny, what is your thoughts on the NFL free agency? We'll be going over the top names so far. So we'll start off with Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams, star wide receiver, has signed with the Los Angeles Rams in free agency. What's your thoughts on Devontae Adams going to the Los Angeles Rams?
Well, what my thoughts is that Cooper Cup might as well pack his bags because it looked like he will get released because they're not going to keep Cooper Cup, Devontae Adams, and also what's his name? Oh my goodness, the other receiver. Oh my gosh, bro.
Puka Nacua?
They ain't gonna keep. Thank you. They ain't gonna keep Puka on there as well. So Cooper Cup packing bags because Devontae Adams coming, bro. They just can't keep all them guys there. I even been seeing some reports that Cooper Cup is most likely going to get released, and it's great for Matthew Stafford because Stafford get a guy who's in Devontae Adams still playing at a great level, and Puka Nacua they have his rookie year performance, but he still is a great receiver. I like Puka game, man. He's a contact receiver. He
Oh
do
yeah.
he don't shy away from no contact. So I love Devontae Adams going there, man. I love it. But my question is to Devontae Adams. We always talk about winning the championship. Are the Rams a championship team? No, they're not. They're not a championship team at all.
Yeah, I like the move by the Rams. I think it's a really good pickup. They still got a lot of holes to cover, like you said. Especially I look at the defensive side of the ball, but Devontae Adams is still him, and I think he's just been a part of some bad teams over the last couple of years. I think about his time with the Raiders, a year or so ago when Jimmy Garoppolo was still the starter, when he was basically quoted on Netflix with that receiver series that Jimmy Garoppolo was throwing them some hospital balls, and then the several quarterbacks before he was traded with Vegas, and then he got to the Jets, and the Jets were horrible last year. But I still think that Devontae Adams is still one of the best wide receivers in the league when healthy, and is still one of the best route runners in the league. But I would really, really consider keeping Cooper Cup too, because if you can work it out financially, make Cooper Cup take a pay cut. The trio of Puka Nacua, Cooper Cup, and Devontae Smith or Devontae Adams, that is a sick trio out there. That would be a sick trio out there in LA. But like you said, it seems like this is the replacement, and Cooper Cup's going to have to be released because A lot of teams don't want to take on that contract that he has with the injury history that he's starting to have. But yeah, I think this is a good pickup, as it's definitely gonna make Matthew Stafford happy. Doesn't move the needle to me about them, no, because they gotta fix defensive problems. But this is a good step in the direction if they want to get at least back to being a Final Four team in the NFC like they were last year.
Yeah, man. And to be honest, if they were able to keep Cooper Cup, they're probably the best three man trio in the game right now. If they was able to keep him, but the reports say they most likely gonna release him. That sucks, man. The NFL got a cap. Major League Baseball don't got a cap, so they can sign whoever, whenever, But they got a cap, man. So this the NFL. This is just the business.
Yeah. What's your thoughts about Geno Smith being traded to the Las Vegas Raiders?
That's well, I thought they were drafting a quarterback. Look like they might not be drafting a quarterback. That's what I got from it. Because Gino get to play with Pete Carroll again. Um, they really don't have the necessary weapon. Well, they got what's that man name? The receiver.
Oh, the tight end.
Oh yeah, Brock. They got Brock, who's a great man. Brock is an amazing tight end,
Oh,
and
yes, he
I
is.
honestly feel like Brock is going to be an All Pro for years to come.
Yeah.
Brock Bowers, that man's amazing. He's amazing. But they also got that other receiver. What's his name? Oh my goodness, he's so underrated. He's so underrated.
Kobe Myers.
Jacoby Myers. Oh my gosh. They got Jacoby Myers. That man is one of the most underrated receivers in the NFL. And I think Geno Smith, Jacoby Myers, and Brock Bowers, oh my goodness. They can do something, man. They can do something.
Yeah.
But like they're not gonna win no chip though.
Yeah.
let me not get too ahead of myself. They ain't gonna win nothing though.
Yeah, I thought they were their best option was probably moving up in the draft to get a quarterback, possibly Shador Sanders or Cam Ward if they were bold enough. But yeah, it seems like this is a move to keep Pete Carroll, their new head coach, happy because that's his former quarterback that he had in Seattle. But I don't know. With this move, do you really believe that Geno Smith can compete out there in that loaded AFC West division with Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and now Bo Nix, who's starting to develop into his own quarterback out there in Denver? This is a tough division, and you're going to need the right quarterback and the right pieces in order to dethrone the Chiefs or get ahead the Chargers or the Broncos. I don't think this move for Geno Smith being traded there is the right move. And I think they were better off trying to trade up to get a quarterback in this draft.
Yeah, I honestly was a little confused at first, but then, like you said, that was to make Pete Carroll happy. And how much tread do Geno still got on them tires? To be honest, Geno peaked late in his career. How many more years do Geno got? That's the question. So what they telling me is they don't believe in none of the quarterbacks in this draft. Can't.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. And I'm very shocked with that. That got me thinking, where's Shador's going to go? Where's Shador? Where Cam going to go, man?
Yeah. Next one, DK Metcalf being traded to the Steelers. What's your thoughts on that?
Man, DK going to the Steelers with George Pickens. Man, we're going to see what that can do. And also, man, I really do kind of like the Steelers with DK Metcalf, George Pickens, and Calvin Austin, man. A very underrated receiver in Calvin Austin, man. That man is legit. I had the opportunity of working with Calvin at the University of Memphis when I was a manager there. But Calvin, man, that man's so legit. The speed he got, the speed that DK Metcalf got. Another guy who destroyed my high school team, man, DK Metcalf, when I was at Lake Corman. But man, just I love that team, man. I love DK Metcalf. I love George Pickens. I feel like them three alone, they can really be great this year, them receiver. But the thing is, who is throwing them the ball? I if Aaron Rodgers, right? There've been reports of Aaron Rodgers looking to go there. I think that'd be good. Could be good if Aaron Rodgers and everybody else is in the right mindset.
Yeah. I really like the fact that the Steelers went all out to get another receiver. This was a problem that affected them down the stretch when they went on a 5 game losing streak and then got bounced in the wild card by the Baltimore Ravens. They were lacking that another wide receiver to be a threat alongside George Pickens. And George Pickens at times can act like a diva when he's not getting the football. So when you take out the number one player on the outside that can be a distraction, there was nowhere else to really feed another playmaking pass catcher to be a difference maker out there in the offense last year. So now you go out, you get DK Metcalf. That could be a great wide receiver duo of DK Metcalf and George Pickens, as long as they get it along with each other and they don't argue about who's getting the targets and the catches. But both are great route runners and dynamic players once they have
Yeah.
the ball in open space, especially for someone as jacked as DK, having the speed and the athleticism that he has at the wide receiver position. But this was a good move. And depending on who the quarterback of the future is going to be, it looks like it's going to be Aaron Rodgers. Or if they bring back, well, I hope they don't bring back Russell Wilson. But if it's Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers could possibly bring back some magic that he had in his prime days. This wide receiver duo of DK and Pickens can be a problem in the AFC to give a lot of DBs some problems.
Yeah, man, I fully agree. I fully agree. They can be a problem, a huge problem.
Yeah. Um, let's see. Let's go down the list here. I'll go over some big names. Um, that's a big name. Justin Fields to the Jets. What's your thoughts on Justin Fields going to the Jets?
Justin Fields to the Jets, man. The thing about it is, it, are they gonna? Because to me, do you believe in Justin? I honestly feel like Justin Fields can succeed. Honestly, but are you going to trust him, build around him to make him succeed like a Lamar? Are you going to put the time and belief in him to succeed like you would a Patrick Mahomes? I'm not saying he's them type of guys,
Yeah.
right? But any person needs is somebody to believe in them and an opportunity. Are you going to take the time to believe into Justin Field, build around a scheme around him? Because he played like Garrett Wilson, he knows Garrett Wilson, Ohio State. Hall, he's amazing. He's a great running back. Underrated run. They have the same years as rookie year, but a lot of people had a decline year from last year.
Yeah.
Justin Fields, I feel, is coming in motivated and ready to prove. He sat on the bench with the Steelers, didn't really get no run. He's seen that Caleb Williams took his team. He's hungry. He's in New York. I say give the young brother a chance to shine.
Yeah, I like what you said about Justin Fields. I feel like this is good for him to prove that once again to prove to us that he could be a quality, good starting quarterback. He doesn't have to be a top 10 quarterback, but as long as you could get the wins and put your team out of harm's way, that's what matters in the National Football League. Because I feel like the Jets did do a good job getting Justin Fields because they didn't have to overpay for a quarterback. $40 million for a quarterback is pretty good right now in the National Football League, and Justin Fields did show a glimpse of maturity and showed a glimpse of what he could do as a starter out in a different environment. When he went 4-2 with the Steelers as a starter last year, he showed at times he can make plays with his arm and show how dynamic he could be as a rusher. So you can use him in short yardage situations as long as the play calling is good for him to not lose the game for the team, not turn over the ball, because I feel like Aaron Glenn, being a defensive minded coach, is going to have this defense back to where they were, being a solid unit.
Oh yeah, they gonna be
And you
legit.
can hand off the ball to Brees Hall to take the pressure off of Justin Fields so he doesn't have to get pass happy, throw the ball 35, 40 times a game, because that's not going to benefit the Jets of trying to win ball games. So, and he also gets to reunite and play alongside his former college teammate, Garrett Wilson. They were teammates at Ohio State, so that's huge. So this could work. this could work. I'm not going to say this is a bad move, but this is not the worst move. And I think Justin Fields, like you said, is hungry to prove that still could be a quality starting quarterback in the National Football League.
And also, people forget, man, that Justin Field rushed for 1,000 yards, bro. He's talented. He done this, bro. So like a guy with that type of athleticism, man, if you rush for 1,000 yards in the NFL at the quarterback position, man, you gotta find a way to put him on the field.
Oh yeah,
Got
for
to.
sure.
Got to.
Last one for this segment. What's your thoughts about Sam Darnold signing with the Seattle Seahawks?
Man, old Sam, old Sam, old Sam, man. The thing is that these folks must really believe in Sam Darnold. The question is, do you trust Sam Darnold after years of being terrible? Do you trust him to be your franchise quarterback? The Seattle Seahawks is saying they believe. I want to say I don't believe. I don't believe that Sam Darnold can do it a second time in a row. I hope he proves me wrong. But Sam Darnold, when it came down to it, he folded. So
Oh yeah.
Sam Darnold's on a career arc. If he do succeed, he's on that Kirk Cousin type of career arc. That's the highest you can get from Sam Darnold. And a quarterback like Sam Darnold, right, take you to the next level. And I honestly don't believe he can. I
No.
don't believe in him. He either gonna be a Kirk Cousin, Jared Goff, or Sam Darnold, the old Sam Darnold. Them are the highs is a Kirk Cousins and Jared Goff. The low lit is the old Sam Darnold, man. And I just hope, but what I seen him folded in that playoff game, I'm saying he's right back to it. I wasn't shocked because he done it in the past. When it came down to it, he folded.
Yeah, I agree with you. Sam Darnold, to me, he looked really, really good with the Minnesota Vikings. But when it mattered most and the lights were on bright, that game against the Lions, week 18, when the NFC North was on the line and the number one seed, that was basically a practice playoff game with a lot of high stakes and a lot of implications on the line. He folded, had a bad performance. And the next week, played the Rams in the wild card in the playoffs, folded, had a bad performance. So that's all you need to know. A player can look good in the regular season, but is he really that caliber superstar quarterback to take you to the next level in terms of being a championship contender? And I didn't see that out of the Minnesota Vikings. I think a lot of credit to his success goes to Kevin O'Connell, who is low key a quarterback whisperer. I seen the work that he did with Kirk Cousins. I seen the work that he did with Baker Mayfield when he was still the OC there in LA as well, when Baker Mayfield had a good 3 to 4 game run with the Rams. And now the Sam Darnold goes to the Seahawks. They just lost DK Metcalf. You trade him. You just released Tyler Lockett. So all you're banking on him is to play with Jackson Smith and Njigba. Is that really good enough to compete out in the NFC West? I don't think so. So I think
Yeah.
this is a bad signing by this. Not a bad signing, but I don't see how that he's moving the needle compared to what Geno Smith just did. Just a higher production, only to be less disappointed, or only to be more disappointed in the outcome.
Yeah, and then maybe they thinking, oh, he's younger than Gino, but I seen Gino more consistent. You may say someone may argue say Sam Darnold haven't had the opportunity, and I would ask you, when have he not had the opportunity to succeed? I would
Yeah,
argue with you, Gino had less opportunities to succeed. He was a second round quarterback. Third, wasn't like second round quarterback. Sam Darnold was a first round quarterback. Had many opportunities and he folded. I don't believe in Sam Darnold this year. I honestly don't believe in it. I don't believe in the signing, and we'll see. We'll just see. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong at all because he is not going to win you no Super Bowl in Seattle.
right. It's facts. So Johnny, I'll get your quick thoughts on the final segment here. What's your thoughts on Stephen A. signing his new contract with ESPN? The deal is up worth to $100 million. Talk about an analyst making $100 million. What's your thoughts on Stephen A.'s new ESPN contract?
Man, honestly, I feel like he honestly deserved it because Stephen A. inspired a lot of people. He inspired me. He inspired a lot of journalists out here, man, because he's box office, like he always say. Like
Yeah.
you pay and go and watch people like Stephen A. talk sports. He's bigger than some athletes. You know what I'm saying? He's the draw. And like he said, he produces first take. He do a lot of things, man. Like, and I just salute him, man. That's inspiring, honest.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm really happy for Stephen A. Smith. Like you, Johnny, he inspired you and really inspired me to even start this podcast based on what I've seen him, how he covers the game of sports, whether this NBA, the NFL, whatever he's doing. Like you said, he's a box office attraction, and he's overcame so much adversity in his life to get to this point of making $100 million on this contract. That's athlete money just talking about sports. That's like a dream for me and you.
Yeah,
And
that is.
from being
That's our
fired,
dream.
yeah, from being fired in the ESPN in the past, I mean, to be at the peak of his career now, being so entertaining, not scared to back down in sports takes. He's paved the way and opened the door for several other analysts out there in the world today, whether that's on First Take, covering basketball for ESPN. The man is iconic, and he's a legend. He's one of the greatest to ever do it, being a sports analyst, and I admire him. So I really believe that Stephen A. definitely deserves this money.
Yeah, for sure. He deserved everything about it, man. Like for sure.
Yeah, man. So I think that's going to open the door for negotiating, whether it's ESPN, Fox. I think that's going to open the door for these analysts to get their agents to talk about not a deal as high, but aim for something like 30 to 100 million plus now because even though Stephen A is very versatile and he can work in several different roles, there's other people like Shannon Sharp that can do just what Stephen A does, and there's several other people in the sports world today that can do what he does. So I think this is going to be a competitive market now, and we'll see how that opens the door. What's your thoughts on that, Johnny? Do you think the competitiveness is still there?
Yeah, I feel like that can open the door. I feel like him doing that can open the door for a lot of like broadcasters in general, like who who not because everybody not gonna touch that money, but that opened the door to let broadcasters know that like I can get that money, a big number. So I feel like that have opened the door in a way for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Um, so Johnny, we'll go ahead and wrap up the episode, man. I am glad that you joined us again. Man, that's all the time I have for you guys today. Your host, Tom Tyree, signing off, and Johnny Hill, our guest today. Johnny, where can we find you on your podcast? What networks, what social media platforms, where can we find Under the Hood podcast?
Okay, it's under the hood sports. It's under DA Hood Sports, and you can find that on YouTube and also Spotify. And you can follow me on Johnny Bless 8 on IG and also Twitter. And I'm everywhere, man. So just look me up. And yup, that's where I'm at, man. And that's where we at. Hey, go subscribe, man, and appreciate Thomas for always having me on, man. You know it's always love, man.
Yeah, looking to have you on next very soon, man. The two times that I had you on, we had a blast and chopped it up well. So this is gonna turn out to be a really good episode for you guys. So that's all the time we have for you guys. This is Tom Tyree and our guest Johnny Hill signing off, and I'll see you guys on next week's episode.